How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Have you ever wondered where a man's mind goes when he starts cheating? And have you asked yourself the horrifying question, how could I have known sooner? Well, what if I gave you an answer that was equally as terrifying? That you actually can know sooner. Which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 5 signs men give when they are going to cheat. That way, you can see this nightmare coming before you have to catch him in the act. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. We got a lot in store for you today, okay? Very special day. I like to add stuff all the time. So I got a lot to add to this week that we're doing, or today, I guess was this week. I have a nice, the intro is on YouTube as well for you guys. So I figured out how to get the intro for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying that. It allows you all to filter into the classroom and get a notification when we start. So I wanted to do that for you guys on YouTube as well. And we got a very special segment addition to the show. Okay. Ivy said I want drawings. Don't worry. We're going to get to all the good stuff today. All right. So let's start by introducing the show. Welcome all of you beautiful people who we got up in the show today. I see we got Sandra is here, D is here, SH is here, is here, Adorable is here, H is here, Mara is here, Under is here, Chan is here. Did I see Scotty here as well earlier? Welcome all you beautiful people who we got over in the YouTube chat. I see we got Irina here, Mar here, Heaven is here. We got I here, Alice here. I think Tracy Niles was first in our chat today. Welcome all you beautiful people. And of course, we got Missy America holding down our YouTube chat as our one and only moderator. So good to see all of your beautiful faces. Like I said, we got a lot to discuss today, and we got some extra special surprises for all of you beautiful souls. You guys know I'm full of surprises, okay? So stay tuned for that. So first things first, let's get started with the topic of today's show, which is a painful topic, and we're going to be discussing cheating. That's never fun, but I do want you to have a better understanding of men and how they operate, so the knowledge will do you good in the future, that you can begin identifying situations before they have to rear their ugly head, okay? So first thing that you'll notice when men are giving signs that they're about to cheat is he will become extremely forgetful with you. I want you to understand that when men are in a relationship with you and they actually care about you and are invested in this relationship, they're going to have a level of attention to detail. Now, not all men are going to be capable of having such a key attention to detail that they're like, oh, I see you put on a different pair of lashes today. I see that, you've got some, extensions in that are exactly 2.5 inches. Not all men are going to be paying that much attention to detail. But what you'll notice is one of the things that will rear itself when a man is about to cheat or getting close to it or already has, he will become extremely forgetful of you and of the relationship. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by forgetful. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you're someone who really you can't eat gluten, and you not being able to eat gluten has been a thing for a while. So you guys get a special pizza whenever you're eating pizza, and let's just say today he orders a pizza and you come home and you're like, oh, so you got pizza for us, and you look at the pizza box and it's pizza from Pizza Hut, which has gluten in it that you can't eat. And you're like, wait, why didn't you order pizza from the place that you said that we usually get pizza from, because I'm gluten free? And he looks at the pizza and he looks at the pizza box and he goes, oh, my bad. It totally slipped my mind. I forgot you can't eat. You want me to order you another pizza? And you're like, what do you mean? Like, we've been doing a thing where I don't eat gluten, so you don't get Pizza Hut. When did you start getting Pizza Hut pizza? And so the reason I say that is because this starts to happen for a very special and particular reason, and a lot of times guys can't control this. See, I always tell you guys it's very difficult to have a roster of people because it's very hard to invest your mind, your soul, and your spirit into multiple people at once. So when a guy is beginning to invest his mind, soul, body, and spirit into someone else because he's cheating, or because he's taking all of that investment away from you and this relationship and actively seeking to put it into other people, right? You're going to notice that he is not capable of having that same level of attention to detail of you and this relationship. It's just something that's natural to people. And the reason I brought up having a roster and how that relates to having a roster is part of the reason I always tell all you beautiful people that you should never be having a roster ever at all, for no reason whatsoever. Because when you spread yourself really emotionally thin, it becomes hard to really keep track of each relationship, each person, and each connection, right? And a connection and a romantic relationship is like grass. You can have great grass if you water it, you take care of it, you pull the weeds out when the weeds come, okay? But if you don't take care of your grass, it'll be brown, it'll be nasty, it'll barely grow, and it'll look gross, okay? And eventually it'll just die off. So if you don't do a good job of watering your grass on a daily and weekly basis and maintaining it, your grass is going to eventually die. It's the same thing with relationships. So I say that to say, when guys begin to become very forgetful and lose their ability to have attention to detail in that relationship, it's one of the clearest signs that a guy is about to cheat if he already has not cheated. And I know that this sounds really morbid, and I'm sorry for it sounding so morbid, but I do want you guys to understand this so that we can all be on the same page here, right? Pay attention to those things. And a lot of the things that we discussed today are going to be very focused on patterns. One of the things that I always mention to you guys is how important it is to be learning the people that you're dating. I always say learning, and I say learning in that way because you're thinking, learning, what is it, a math equation? Yes. Human beings and their minds and the way they work, it's a math equation. You're constantly trying to figure out the human being that you're spending your time with, and you're trying to learn them, learn how they operate, learn how they carry themselves, learn how they talk, how they walk, what they like, what they don't like. In the process of learning them, you're analyzing that information and deciphering the information that they're giving you through verbal and nonverbal cues, okay? So one of the things I want you to understand, and why I mentioned having a roster at the beginning, is because you need to know that having a roster and you're spreading yourself so emotionally thin. Part of the reason when I talk to you guys about like Love is Blind and shows like that, and why on Love is Blind, you know how they sit in the pods and they have their notebook, and when they're meeting people at the very beginning on Love is Blind, they're writing down in their notebook all the names of people and the conversation they're having and notes about the person, is because it becomes very difficult when you're emotionally invested in other people at the same time to really remember and soak in everything of the essence of the person you're with right now. Because when you think back to the relationship, or you think back to the date, or you think back to the talking stage, it becomes hard to remember, was that thing that I shared in common with guy number 3 or guy number 33? Was that guy number 11 or guy number 12? I can't really remember, right? Jay Nicole says, you start mixing up information in between options. Precisely, which is exactly what I want you to avoid, and why it hurts you, because when you start mixing up information, it becomes very hard to decipher that and analyze which individual guy is actually the best for you, because you're jumbled up and confused and every guy kind of seems the same, okay? We don't want that for you. We want you having a clear mind. So this is another thing to pay attention to, and another one of those patterns to pay attention to. And I want you to understand, that when you're building a relationship with a guy, you're going to be learning what his level of attention to detail naturally is. So what I mean by that is, some guys that you date will have such a level of attention to detail that he'll know if you cut your hair a couple centimeters shorter, right? And they'll be able to spot that difference. Some guys have a level of attention to detail, while, still a level of attention to detail, not as high or as detailed as other guys. That doesn't necessarily mean he likes you any more or less. Just some guys have different levels of attention to detail. But what you need to understand is what that natural level is. So when you start noticing the pattern shift, and you start noticing that he has less attention to detail than he regularly has, and things that he used to know very well or easily be able to pay attention to, you start noticing it becomes difficult for him to understand, know, or pay attention to, Now you're getting the understanding that something has shifted within him emotionally and spiritually. And for some guys, that means that he's already cheating on you. I don't want to scare you, but for some guys, that could just mean that he's emotionally withdrawn from you. And to be honest with you, when a guy's emotionally withdrawn from you, at that point, the cheating will come very quick, fast, and in a hurry after that. Okay, I just want to make you guys aware of that. I seen SH say earlier, can we learn the signs of a loyal man? Don't worry, we'll discuss signs of a loyal guy as well. I just know that in this show, and for what you guys want, I know that for you guys, it becomes very confusing when you meet guys and they don't treat you right or the relationship doesn't end well, because it's a lot easier to feel good and know that you feel good because the relationship is going well, if that makes any sense, right? So that's why we talk so much about what not to look for, because it's easier to know what to look for. I don't want to say it's super easy, but it's easier to know what to look for when you better understand what you're not looking for, as opposed to me just telling you, get a guy who's nice to you. And then you're kind of like, I don't really know what nice really is, because every guy seems nice, but then I'm confused why every guy that seems nice actually doesn't end up nice. Can you explain to me why that happens? That's why we talk about that. But rest assured, we'll also discuss things to look for as well. Okay. Right. Corb says, can we ever have a show where I don't cry by the information? See, every time we talk about information in the show and I share with you information on the way guys think or the way guys feel or the way guys go about stuff, right? It's always good if you're crying, if you're sad, if you're triggered, because that means you're learning something and that means there's some truth to it. Because truthfully, if I was just up here talking out of my butt and nothing I said had any truth to it and you were hearing it, you'd just be like, yeah, that doesn't really apply to me, doesn't really hit home to me. I've never really experienced any of this. But if I'm saying it and you're like, oh, wow, I really have experienced that. Or you're like, damn, that exact thing happened to me. Or damn, I'm living that right now. Then you should know that that has some truth to it. Okay. Right. Someone says, Buzu says, can we watch the show again? Yes, as I'm live on TikTok, I'm also live on YouTube at the exact same time. So don't you worry. You can always access this show. If you're on TikTok right now, just go over to the link in my bio or just type in my YouTube name. It's just my name right on the top right corner of the screen. And you'll be able to find this live show, rewind it, go forward, all that good stuff. So you won't miss any of the points here. Okay. Jackie says, do all men cheat no matter what? One way or another? No. And I don't want you guys to think that we're discussing this because all men cheat. I just want you to be aware of the signs when a guy has emotionally withdrawn from you, the type of things he'll be doing and the type of ways he'll carry himself, so that you can easily more spot these changes in patterns and why they're so key to the way that men think and operate and approach relationships, that you don't second guess yourself if you ever see these things and think to yourself, oh, maybe it's just nothing, right? I want you to understand that it is something. And I'm telling you this from a man's perspective so that you can understand that it is something. Okay. That's why we're having the show. Not all men cheat though. All right. So number one was being extremely forgetful. Now, number two is what we're going to describe as always agreeing. Here we're going to take a pause because I really want you paying attention to this part because it's so important for what we're going to be discussing. I want you to understand, see, relationships can seem really amazing when the man that you're in a relationship with, Holland says, I'm confused, always agreeing. Don't worry, I'll explain. Relationships can become really confusing when you think to yourself, hey, in a good relationship, in a healthy relationship, I mean, I guess we shouldn't fight, right? We shouldn't disagree because it's so healthy and it's so good. We have no reason to fight. We have no reason to disagree. We have no reason to argue. Here's the reality though, and this is why this is so counterintuitive, and I want you to be paying attention to this point because it's so important for you to understand properly. You need to understand when you build a relationship with anybody, anyone, they are a separate individual from you. They grew up differently than you. They had different parents than you, hopefully, unless you live in Alabama. They have different siblings than you, hopefully. They listen to some different music than you. They're also a man. So even if you grew up in the same town with similar type of friends, shared the same friend group, for the most part, right? You still are a woman and he's a man. And so just from that standpoint alone, you're going to see different perspectives. There's nothing wrong with that. In the process of seeing different perspectives, that's going to mean that not every single thing in your life and in your relationship you guys are going to agree on. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And that's how it should be. Two individuals are not meant to agree on everything. So that means you're going to have some disagreements. That means there are going to be some times where there's going to be some rocky road. You guys might butt heads. You might have to compromise and figure some things out. He might have a particular way he wants to do something. You might have a particular way you want to do something. And in the middle there, you guys have to come to some sort of compromise. That's natural. And that's what it's meant to be when two people are individuals with their own thought process and their own perspective and their own life experience. That's perfectly fine. Now, what's not natural, what's unnatural is for someone to always agree with you no matter what. No matter what decision you make, no matter what you want to do, no matter how you want to go about this relationship, every single thing you decide is what your partner decides and says, yay, it's okay to as well. The reason I say that's unnatural, and I know for some of you that's really confusing because you're like, Tomisin, how are you telling me that something that's supposed to be good, that we don't fight and we never have disagreements, is something that's actually bad? Let me explain to you this from a man's perspective. I want you to understand that for men, right, like I mentioned in being two different individuals and having two different perspectives, right? It is natural for him to speak his mind on the things that he feels strongly about. And it is unnatural to men to feel uncomfortable with the situation, with the circumstance, or whatever it may be, and not speak on it or speak up for himself, right? That's part of being a man, is if I feel uncomfortable with something or I don't like something, I speak my mind. I don't just hold it in, not address it, or say okay, knowing that I'm not okay with it, especially in a relationship. So I want you to understand, if that's meant to be natural to men, or that's how they're supposed to feel when they feel angry or upset or something bothers them, or they're not at peace. If they don't feel like they're supposed to be sharing with you, or they're supposed to be honest with you about how they feel, it's probably because they're sharing those feelings or what they actually feel with someone else. Okay? And a lot of times, and this is where I want to preface this by saying, I want you to identify the pattern. So if you notice that your guy is someone who usually speaks his mind and usually doesn't agree with you on everything, and you kind of get a sense on the things that you guys butt heads on, the type of topics and conversations and situations in which you guys butt heads, and you start noticing that all of a sudden, randomly in the relationship, you no longer disagree on those things, and all of a sudden, he becomes very agreeable in this relationship. And when I say agreeable, I'm not talking about you're compromising for him. I'm talking about you take the same stance you've always taken, and all of a sudden, he just agrees with you on everything. He doesn't want to argue with you on anything. And anytime you do bring up, hey, I thought you don't even like that thing, he says, no, it's perfectly fine. I'll give you an example so that you can better understand what I'm referring to. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, your man, he hates going to, the drive-in, right? And he's like, babe, I hate going to the drive-in to watch a movie because whenever we go to a drive-in, I can barely hear the sound. And when it's coming through the speakers on the radio, it's just not hitting right. And I like going to a theater where we can sit down and eat popcorn. And every time you guys talk about this, he feels so passionate and be, let's go to a theater. And you're like, no, I want to go to the drive-in. He's like, no, I want to go to a theater. You're like, no, I want to go to a drive-in. And he's always unhappy every time you guys go to a drive-in. And then randomly, all of a sudden, now, when you mention going to a drive-in or whatever it may be, he says, yeah, sure, we'll go to a drive-in. And you're kind of like, wait, yeah? And he's like, yeah, who cares? Yeah, we'll do the drive-in. You don't want to watch? I mean, we can watch the movie first in the theater. No, yeah, drive-in's fine. Who cares? And see, it might seem small, and this is why I say it's very subtle. And I talked about that. I even put it in the title and the thumbnail on YouTube. This is why I say it's so subtle, because naturally, you have to notice that in people and in the people that you begin dating, there are patterns of behavior. When people go outside of those patterns, it's not for no reason, right? People are creatures of habits. And men are creatures of habits. So when you learn a man and you start to begin to learn his habits and his way of thinking, and all of a sudden that way of thinking changes randomly, that should be setting off alarm bells in your mind. So things that used to be places in which you guys disagree, all of a sudden, by the snap of a finger, is no longer a place in which you guys disagree. That should be telling you that something has changed within him emotionally or spiritually. Because why are you guys constantly agreeing on things that he never used to agree with you on? That's unnatural. Okay? And part of the reason, and this is why I want to confess to you, part of the reason why you'll notice that some men begin to just randomly agree with you on everything is because that energy that they would be giving to you in terms of speaking their mind and being honest about how they feel, they are now taking that energy and giving it or implanting it into someone else, or they have emotionally withdrawn from the relationship so much that they no longer have the energy to even speak their mind in this relationship because they don't care. So when I talk about all these signs, I want you to understand they both can be happening if a guy is already cheating, or they can be happening if a guy is now possessing the mind frame in which to cheat, okay? Because unless your man is a psychopath, he has to be in a particular mind frame to cheat. He's not just going to be able to do it off of the whim, okay? So I want you to understand that, and there are signs to that. And a lot of times, if you were to look back on your relationships, you'll be able to see those signs happening. Now, all the ones we're going to discuss today in today's show are going to be a little bit more subtle, but I can assure you they will be obvious to you once you better understand them and we discuss them in today's show, and you'll be able to notice them and look back on your relationships, okay? Right? Red Pill says, never let a man know you catch them cheating, gather evidence, pull back hard, and start dating others, take nice vacations, change your looks. That's an interesting strategy there, Red Pill Queen, okay? We might have to change your name to like the Pink Pill Queen. Since we're in the Players Club and it's all women here, we might have to change that to Pink Pill Queen, okay? But I think that comment is funny. Andrea says, you keep me somewhat sane. I hope so. Okay. So does that make sense to you guys so far, right? Number one was being extremely forgetful. And number two is always agreeing. Okay. If you guys are looking to rehash points or you missed a point, you can always go onto my YouTube page. It's right above my head on the top right corner of the screen. You can rewatch the points on my YouTube page, and then you'll be able to find them there. So don't think that you missed it just because I went over it already. All right. So number one, extremely forgetful. Number two, always agreeing. Now, number three, let's discuss something that might be a bit painful to you. Okay. Number three is when men in your life will begin picking up really random hobbies and interests. Okay. Give me a second. We're going to talk about this. See, like I mentioned to you before, men are creatures of habit. Now, while there's nothing unnatural about wanting to discover, new hobbies and interests in itself, I want to say this, and I know it's going to trigger some of you. That's why I'm cringing. What you need to understand is if a guy meets a new girl or he starts spending a lot of time with a new girl, a lot of times what's going to happen is that new girl is going to bring out different sides of him. In the process of the new girl bringing out different sides of him, he's going to develop new interests, new hobbies, new ways of talking. Just in general, different sides of his personality will be at the forefront. We're like three-dimensional beings. So we take shape and we form and change depending on the dynamic of the person that we're with. So you can only imagine you might bring out a particular side of him and you understand him a particular way. But if he builds a relationship or is building a relationship or a friendship with another girl that he's spending a lot of time with, that girl can be bringing out different sides of him. That girl can be helping him discover different interests that he has, or forcing him or putting him in different situations that he's never been into. And so all of a sudden, he now brings that different energy or those different interests or that different side of his personality back home with him. So even though he's with you and even though he's in a relationship with you, because this different side of his personality is now being brought out on an ongoing basis and he's discovering new interests, he brings that different personality, remnants of that different personality back home with you. And then you start understanding him or feeling differently about him, because when you're absorbing him, right? You're absorbing him when you're interacting with him and you're in this relationship with him, you're absorbing what feels like a slightly different person. It's the same name and it's the same meat suit, but when you're absorbing him, you're like, wait, but you're acting different. You're laughing different. The things that you talk about are different. You're changing. Something is changing about you. And a lot of times it's so subtle because you won't be able to put your finger on it, but I can assure you it is something. So let me give you an even more concrete example so that you can clearly understand what it is that I'm referring to, okay? So when I say random hobbies or interests that develop just out of the blue, let me say it like this. Imagine you've been dating a guy for 2 years. And in the process of dating this guy for 2 years, he's just been someone who, let's say he really enjoys football and that's the only sport he watches. He's not into any other type of sport and that's all he cares about. And let's say for the sake of argument, in the process of you dating him, things are going rocky in your relationship. Things might have been falling apart and you spend some time away, you're trying to build this relationship, but you notice something has changed about him. He's went from being really interested in just watching and maybe playing football with his friends in the backyard to now all of a sudden he's really into swimming. And he's not just a little bit into swimming. I mean, like, he's going to a gym now where there's a pool and he swims at the pool. You see him buy new swim trunks. You see him watching swim YouTube videos. And you see him saying, damn, yo, I'm trying to get better at swimming. Yo, look at these Michael Phelps videos, how he's doing that breaststroke. Yeah, that breaststroke. That breaststroke real good. I'm trying to learn that and get better at that. Now, this swimming thing, I'm trying to get the hang of it. So a lot of times it might seem innocent because you're just thinking, oh, he's just picking up something new. But sometimes, and this is where you kind of have to couple this with the context of all the other stuff that we talk about. What's happening is that he's met a girl who's into swimming. And she's shown him a lot of stuff about swimming. And in the process, and it could be a girlfriend, it could be a side chick, it could be just a friend for now. And in the process of him meeting this new friend, this new person, it's brought out a different side of his personality and it's grew his interest in places that they never used to be. He's now discovering different sides of himself that he never used to be able to discover because his environment was the same. Okay? One of the ways people will change very easily is when their environment changes. So when he's with you in the same house or in the same apartment, doing the same things because that's what you like and that's what he likes, there's kind of a feedback loop that keeps him on the same level pretty much all the time. Now, vice versa, when his environment drastically changes, that he doesn't just go from spending time with you in the same places, doing what you guys enjoy to do, and he spends time in the places that this new girl is in with what she likes to do, and she's bringing him into her world a little bit, what's going to happen is the way his personality is changes. His interests will slightly take an adjustment. His hobbies might slightly take an adjustment. He might even take interest in some of the things that she already takes interest in. So I say that, I give you that example as something that will happen that I want you to take notice of when the pattern changes. Remember, I talked to you guys at the very beginning, all of these are going to be patterns that change. Never forget, people are humans, and men specifically are humans of habit. So when their habits drastically change or take a 180 for a reason that is unknown to you, right? Because people's habits or, the way they carry themselves or go about things could change based on a monumental, impactful experience. But a lot of times, if they're just changing out of the blue, it's not really out of the blue. It's because of an external circumstance that you're just not aware of yet. I don't want to bring you, pain and make you start worrying for your life and worrying for your relationship. But I do want you to be capable of like seeing this stuff if it is happening. Because what's going to happen is if you're in a relationship with a guy and he's doing a lot of these things that we talk about in the show, a lot of times when it first is happening, you're going to be passing it off as nothing. And because you don't want to analyze it or overthink about it, so you just pretend like it's not existing. But it is existing. And a lot of times this is exactly what it means. Right? Kim actually makes a great point. This is a great one as well. She says, bringing up other women's style, pattern, home, and trying it out with his primary lady. That's another good one, actually. And I'll definitely agree with that. If you notice that the style he likes you in drastically changes, right? Or the aesthetic that whether the aesthetic that he likes you in or the aesthetic that he likes to wear changes. Okay, one of the most obvious signs of this, what I'm talking about, when I say random hobbies or interests, right, or patterns changing, one of the most obvious signs is his aesthetic changing. If a guy wears basketball shorts and a t-shirt everywhere that he goes and Nike sweatpants and slides everywhere that he goes, and all of a sudden, after a couple months, he starts dressing goth, boy, oh boy. You got a situation on your hands, because guys' aesthetic don't change for no damn reason other than that's the new aesthetic that his girl likes, and his aesthetic is changing because his new girl's aesthetic is that aesthetic, okay? I don't want to scare you, but I'm going to be real with you guys. A man's aesthetic don't change out of nowhere. Actually, I should have made that a damn point. I wish I would have made it 6 points. Instead of that might be your little bonus tip for the day. A man's aesthetic damn sure ain't changing for no reason. I assure you of that. Okay, we might have to have a whole nother show just to add that point, because I can assure you of that. All right. Does that make sense to you guys? So far, remember, all of these are patterns of behavior, and not only do I don't want to say this show just so that you're scared and you go out into your relationship scared, not knowing what to do, and being so terrified of the possibility he might be cheating on you. But I want you to take this information so that you can bank it and know, let me identify what your patterns are regularly so that I know if something changes, then something has changed. Are you following me? Right? Summer says, so men are only influenced by women. No, that's not what I mean by any of the stuff that I'm talking about here today. The reason I'm saying this and referring to this is because I want you to understand that each of us as individuals and as of us as men specifically, are different parts of our personality are going to be brought out with different women, because all of the different women we might be with might have different personalities themselves. So it's going to naturally change the way we present ourselves or the sides of our personality that woman brings out. It's just natural human on human influence. But what you need to be aware of is, as you learn him, you're going to notice patterns in your relationship with him when it's just you and him. If now some external circumstance or external person comes into the fold that shakes things up, that has a different personality than you, a different aesthetic than you, a different way of going about the relationship or dynamic with him, it's going to change his personality in ways that will become obvious to you because you have become accustomed to knowing him and understanding him in a particular way. But because this external woman is reflecting on him and what's the word I'm looking for? Affecting him in different ways, it essentially changes parts of him in the way that he presents himself to you that's different from what you're accustomed to. That's what I want you to understand, okay? It's not that women influence a man, but obviously different dynamics are going to bring out different parts of you. It's the same reason why sometimes you'll be with a friend, and when you're just one-on-one with that friend, it's like that friend is so nice to you, and you get along so much with that friend, but then when that friend is around their other friends, they change and they're different around those other friends, and you don't like that version of them when when they're with those other friends, right? It's the same person, but you notice two different sides of their personality depending on if they're just with you or if they're with you and around these other groups of friends, okay? It's just the way that things work. It's the psychology of life, all right? So number one was being extremely forgetful. Number two is always agreeing. Number three, random hobbies. And number four, this is actually what we're going to talk about as this is stop pooping time. Okay, because this is probably the most painful one. And I just have to be real with you about it. It might not make sense to some of you. And the pain will help you learn and understand better for the future. Number four is no jealousy. You need to understand, and there's no way for me to shape this any better for you. If a man really cares about you, he is going to be protective over you. Now, there's a difference between being protective and being controlling. Okay, I want us to be clear on that. However, in the process of being protective over you, it is natural to have some level of jealousy when he sees other guys approaching you or trying to make moves on you or hitting on you or flirting with you. And especially if he feels like you're giving them some energy back or he's looking at what's going on over there. Why are you so smiling so hard with him? Come over here. I don't want you around those people. I don't want you around those guys. Let's get away from these people. I don't want you talking to that guy. I don't want you talking to that guy. Who are you talking to on that phone? Right? Obviously, there's a difference between being controlling and being protective, but it's natural for a man who is invested in you to get a little bit jealous. Now, the way he goes about that jealousy can be different for each man. And SH just said it, right? But when guys become indifferent to you, no matter what it is you're doing, who it is you're spending your time with, where it is you're going, if you're with a guy, if you're with a girl, who's all there, what are those people's vibe? If you see that he has a whole lot of indifference whenever it comes to anything that you're doing, and especially if you notice that there's no level of jealousy when it comes to your interactions with other men, I have no other way to spin it for you. He's probably either gearing up to cheat on you, or if he already hasn't. Like I told you, men are naturally going to be protective over a woman that they're emotionally invested in. It's not possible for him to not be protective. And even when I say jealousy, you have to understand jealousy doesn't come out in just the most obvious ways of, oh my God, stop talking to that guy, block every guy on your Instagram. Jealousy can also even come out in even more subtle ways where he wants to, like, when he's around you and he knows other guys are looking at you, he holds you a little bit tighter, or he brings you in closer, or he brings you to sit on his lap, and things like that, or he's kissing you all over the place when you're out and about to kind of send a message to other guys, this is mine, she's mine, type of thing. And even though that might not be a toxic way of expressing the jealousy or expressing the feelings of, hey, this is my girl, all you men that are looking at my girl, you have to understand it's natural for men to want to express that. Right? And express that, hey, this is my girl. I care about this girl. I'm not letting anyone take this girl away from me. When guys are indifferent towards you and they're not caring where you're going, right? So if you tell a man, I'll give you a perfect example, or the painful example. If you're used to when you are going out, right, your guy usually is asking, okay, where are you going? How long are you going to be out? Which friends are you going with? He usually knows your friends and he asks you all the information and he's got your location on and things like that. And all of a sudden you notice that when you're asking him and you're saying, not asking him, when you're saying, hey, I'm going to go out to the club with my friends, or I'm going to go to this party with my girlfriends. And he's like, cool, whatever. Doesn't ask where you're going. Doesn't ask how long you're going to be. Doesn't ask what area you're going to be. Doesn't ask which friends you're going to be with. Doesn't ask anything. And even when you do come back late, right, if you do, and you text him at 4 a.m. or you text him at 5 a.m. that you just got home, doesn't care. Doesn't bother asking. Doesn't bother addressing it. There's a 100% chance something's going on, okay? Because if that protective energy is not projected onto you, then that protective energy is more than likely being projected onto another woman that he's emotionally invested in. See, I always tell you guys this secret here. One of the hardest and most impossible things for men to ever fake is emotional investment. Okay. Because emotional investment takes time, and it's not something you can purchase. It's also not something you can get back once you've given it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I always talk to you guys about getting guys emotionally invested in you instead of getting them financially invested in you. Don't worry, we'll discuss that. And why that's so important. Because this is another one of those things that when a man is emotionally invested in you, he can't help but be jealous and protective sometimes over you and the relationship. When he is not emotionally invested in you, he will allow you to do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want. Okay. I talked to you guys yesterday in the show that we had yesterday about how guys react and respond to girls that, oh, this is just my favorite eater, guys. So you guys can talk to her however you want, say whatever you want to her, treat her however you want. I don't really care about this girl. She doesn't really matter to me. And it's not really important to me what she does. So you guys can do whatever you want with her. I don't care. Versus a girl that he really cares about, he's going to be looking around every corner, making sure nobody's talking to her, and he's going to get easily jealous over her and the relationship he has with her. It's just natural to men, okay? Now, like I said, there's a line between being protective and being controlling, but I do want you to understand that that protective energy is always going to come out if a man is emotionally invested in you. So if you are noticing that there is a level of extreme indifference to you and this relationship, meaning he just doesn't care what you do, when you do it, how long you do it, nothing about you or the relationship matters to him, and he's very indifferent to everything, clear sign that his investment emotionally is with someone else, okay? It's the same reason why I talk to you guys about always agreeing, because when a guy is always constantly agreeing with you, it's a good sign that he's agreeing with you because he's not emotionally invested enough in you to even speak his mind. And so that emotional investment is projected onto someone else, and which that person he's speaking his mind with, if that makes any sense, okay? Barbara says, I missed the first three. It's perfectly fine. Just head over to my YouTube page, which is just my name on YouTube on the top right of the screen, Tomisin Atobatele. Just type it in on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube at the same time as TikTok. You'll be able to rewind it and find all the points that I mentioned here today, okay? Excuse me, or so far. Okay, so number one was extremely forgetful. Number two, always agreeing. Number three, random hobbies. Number four, no jealousy. And number five, this is going to sound weird, and I want you to really grasp and understand this. Number five is when men do not seek any longer to have fun with you in this relationship. You need to understand that when a guy really likes you and enjoys spending his time with you, he's going to have a natural playful side within him. He's going to want to have fun with you because he wants to make the relationship fun. And when he sees you and he thinks positive feelings and he thinks those love feelings and all those positive emotions, he's going to want to enjoy his life with you. Right? You're someone that he loves and he's invested in and he really likes. So subsequently, because he really likes you and enjoys his time with you, he's going to also want to do things that are fun with you by his side. And you guys enjoy that and spend that fun time together. Whatever it may be, whether it may be skydiving that you guys both enjoy, hiking, fishing. I don't know any girls that enjoy fishing. Whatever it is that you got, your foodies, you like to go to restaurants, whatever it may be that you guys both enjoy, he's going to want to have that fun time with you. When you start noticing that your guy, or the guy that you're talking to, doesn't really care to have any fun time with you, and in fact, a lot of his fun time is either with other friends, a different friend group, all his guy friends, and you just notice that anytime he wants to have fun and enjoy himself, he looks to anyone else except for you. I won't lie to you, he's probably cheating on you. That, or he's so emotionally withdrawn from you that he is prepared to cheat on you, if that makes any sense, okay? Because you have to understand, if I'm in a romantic relationship with you and I'm supposed to be building with you and I'm supposed to be emotionally invested in you, I'm going to want to enjoy my life with you. I'm going to want to not just spend time with you, but enjoy the time that we spend together. So if I'm actively trying to have fun by not being around you, or, whenever you ask me to go out to a restaurant or to go fishing or to do any of the things that we once considered fun, and I'm not doing that with you anymore, or I'm purposely trying to like externalize my fun so it's not in our relationship, it probably means that that fun has been assigned to a different person. Okay? I need you to understand that and accept that as the reality. Okay. Now, for some of you, I need you to also understand that none of these points apply to guys who don't even acknowledge themselves to be your boyfriend. Because I know for some of you, you're only thinking about how does this work for the guy that I'm barely talking to and I think is my boyfriend, but he's not really my boyfriend. This doesn't apply to your situationship where your guy doesn't even consider himself your boyfriend. I'm talking about the relationships in which the guy actually acknowledges to other people, not just you, other people, that he's your boyfriend. Not to diss you, but some of you are in a situation where that guy doesn't even acknowledge himself to be your boyfriend. Okay, that's not what I'm discussing here. But still valuable information for you to have. And I want you to understand that. So let me give you an example of what I mean by no fun. Let's just say, for the sake of example, you and this guy that you've been dating for 2 years, you guys both enjoy being outdoors people. Let's say when you met, he's got a husky and you've got a golden retriever, and you love taking your dogs on long hikes in the forest because you love being outdoorsy people, doing long walks and all that good stuff. And let's just say that's been your regular way of enjoying your time together. That's been the main thing you guys have connected over. And you're starting to notice over time that he no longer wants to do those fun things with you. Not that he doesn't want to spend time with you, but anytime you bring up something that used to be fun for both of you, that you both used to enjoy and kind of bond over, and you want to go do that, and you say, hey, honey, let's go out and we'll go for a walk. I'll take my dog, take your dog, and we'll do our thing, and, we'll have some fun. We'll take Bailey out and we'll take, Hoover out, and we'll both go for a long hike like we usually do. And he's like, nah, I'm nah, not my thing today. I'm just kind of busy. And you're like, what? You used to love us going for hikes. And you ask him again next week, and he's like, yeah, no, I got a friend thing. And then you ask him again the week after that, and he's like, you know what? I'm really tired. And something that you guys used to have a lot of fun doing together, all of a sudden, he has no interest in doing that same fun thing. Almost as if either his interests have drastically changed overnight, or that fun thing is being done and transferred to someone else. And so he's now enjoying himself either in the same way or in a different way with someone else. And he no longer needs to enjoy himself with you because his emotional investment doesn't lie with you anymore. Okay, right? Does that make sense? Right? So I know some of you are like, damn, that might be me. Damn, I think that might be my relationship or my situationship. Then you probably have some things to question. And I shouldn't even say situationship, because those of you in a situationship, you don't even need to be worried about this. You need to be worried about being in a relationship first. And I know some of you are in that position, okay? This is for those of you who are in a relationship where he acknowledges that he's with you as well, not just you acknowledging that, okay? Right? Me says, I love having your company, Tomisin. Chat too. I love having your company as well. I love spending this time with you all. I seen someone say it makes it so much easier to not text him by listening to this show, which is awesome. I'm sure that's probably one of the many positives of the show. You guys get to come and distract yourself from texting that guy that you shouldn't be texting. Okay. Right? Sneaky says, I am out of that relationship. Thank God. Good. And it's good for you guys who might be in it to recognize that it might be happening to you, so that you can start thinking about how you're going to reevaluate, right? And gather more information. Now, I do want you to be aware, any of you that see any of the things that we discussed today, so with the 5 that we discussed today, extremely forgetful, always agreeing, random hobbies, no jealousy, no fun. By the way, in the chat, please let me know if you guys have any questions about the 5 we discussed. But any of you that notice any of the 5 that we discussed here in the show today, I want you to understand, take this with a grain of salt and use this. If you know that this is the relationship that you have right now, instead of just automatically just saying, okay, well, I heard Tomisin say, so now I know for sure he's cheating. And before even finding out more, I'm just going to accuse him of cheating. I need you to hold your water. Because while these signs mean that there's a very good chance he is cheating on you, you still want to gather information so that when you come to him and you basically, you know, accuse him, it's not like you're accusing him just saying, hey, I watched one of Tomisin's videos, so I know you're cheating on me because I watched his video and he said one of the things that you always do. We still want you to gather the information, be patient, right? Continue gathering information. You might have to look into some things. You might have to look into some text messages, some video chats, some calls. You might have to ask around. You might have to do some digging to uncover the real and whole truth. Then when you uncover the real and whole truth with the advice that I gave you here, then you come to him and you can accuse him of what you know to be true, not just what you're thinking is true because you watched it in a video. Okay, right? So I still want you guys to take this information, be able to utilize it, but the way you utilize it is not just by listening to it and assuming your man is cheating because you hear one of these points. It's by using the point to identify where something where you might have had a blind spot, do some more digging in that blind spot and see if you uncover any truthful information. And then when you uncover the truth, you come to him with the truth that you uncovered. Okay, not hypotheticals and hypotheses. All right. Okay. Yvette says, Tomisin, can you discuss on next lives signs you're in not a priority? Yeah, please drop it in my show ideas in our Discord chat because I like to look at your show ideas, and we're actually implementing one of the show ideas we discussed in the Discord today. So this is going to be very exciting here in a little bit. Okay. Beatrix says, can we hire an investigation? I'm sure you can. I don't do that, but I'm sure maybe we'll get a spin-off of the Players Club where it's like Players Club investigation, and maybe one day we'll do that as well. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. With that being said, it's not that time, but it is a special time. We're going to do something a little bit different here today. Okay. We are going to be, I know you guys have been asking for this, so I want to give it to you because I love giving people what they ask for. So we're going to be doing a very special segment today that is new, that we've never done in the show before. I'm excited for this, and I've been waiting to get to this. Okay, not the whiteboard, something new that we haven't done before, okay? So I'm plugging in my iPad because it requires my iPad, and I'm also an iPad kid. So, okay, this is what we're going to be doing here today. So I know that a lot of you in our Discord have been asking me what are my thoughts on all of these different things. So today, for the first time, we are going to be reacting to a few viral videos. These are all TikTok videos, so they're short and sweet, but there's multiple of them. You guys will be able to get my reaction on what I think about them and how I feel about them live on the show as well. So we can kind of enjoy this time together, and it will be very interesting for all of us. Let me take a second here to, I gotta listen. How can I listen to this?
These are some subtle things you can do to make someone nervous or give them better.
Let's see here. Oh, I almost forgot this part. If I put this, there we go. Right, you guys can see that. Okay, perfect. All right, so I gotta grab my headphones. I'll be right back, and I'm gonna listen to this while we discuss it. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. Okay. So, does this have a cord in here where I can listen? Okay, sort of, maybe. Let's see. I might have to plug this into. Give me a second here, guys. Wait, does this? You guys can hear this, right? It's a. Give me a second. I just want to make sure I have the technicalities on here correct. So if we get Can you hear her talking? You should be able to hear her talking. Oh, no, you can't. Wait, why can't you hear that when she's talking? You can't hear her talking. Okay. If I go like that, and then I plug that back in. Okay. No sound. No sound? I sad. Why no sound? Tommy sad. Okay, we gonna figure this out. We gonna get this working. We gonna get this to work one way or another. Okay, if I put that in like that. Wait. Can you guys hear? Okay, can you guys hear this? Can you guys hear this on TikTok? Because I see it playing on TikTok, right? No, you can't hear her voice. What the fuck? Oh, I know why. I know why. Okay. Bro. No, it's not that, I guess. Is it this? I want to figure this out. I had it working earlier. You said you guys heard it before I had the headphones plugged in, but you couldn't see her. That's the problem. Yeah, you guys can hear it when it's like this, but when I plug her in, you couldn't see her. That was the issue. Actually, you know what I can do? I can pull it up on here. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do for you, beautiful people. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to pull it up on here. And if I go to this, and let's see. Oh, this is so hard. Technical issues. It's really annoying. For me. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to try and plug this into my computer. It's going to take me 1 second. 1 second, guys. I want to do this for you. If I plug this in like this. I plug it in from the back here. Oh, I can do this. Ghetto. The way I got it right now. Don't worry, we're gonna fix this with tomorrow. Tomorrow it won't be so ghetto. But we're gonna get this to work today. I'm gonna force it to work. All right. Okay. I got this out here. Now. Okay, I can hear me. And what the hell? Okay, you guys can't hear me. Let's get you guys back on track. Okay. Okay, now you guys can hear me again. Now let's plug this back in. There's an echo? Is there an echo still? Let's go to here. Oh, is it because this is I wonder if that's the reason. Now, wait, so can you guys hear me or no? You guys don't hear? You can hear me. Oh, this is so annoying. I had this working earlier too. That's the most annoying part. So weird. You guys can hear me, but not the TikTok, not her. It's a slight echo with no sound. This is so. Oh, there's an echo because of my I'll turn that off. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the iPad to work because I can't hear the iPad sound. Let me see if I switch this, if anything changes. Let's see. Nope. Still only. Okay, I'm gonna change one more thing. If it doesn't work, F it. We'll just have to skip it today. One more thing. Whoa. They really tried to play me with this. It was, I said, Tommy said, I said.
Remember you like this. They're gonna be like, hold up.
Oh, now it's working.
And they're gonna love it. These are some subtle things you can do to make someone nervous or give them butterflies while you're talking to them. Okay. This works on guys and girls, so do it as you please. Say their name, okay? There's a reason why Rihanna says, say my name, say my name, say my motherfucking name. Because it's hot, okay? When you're already hitting it off with someone and they say your name, it's like, ooh.
Okay. So I
do
know
it.
You guys
Type them out while you're talking to them, okay? It's not a hard thing to do. You just gotta do the classic up, down. So while you're talking to them, you just pull a little... Do it with a more seductive face, but that's it. And the power you fucking hold, they're gonna be nervous as shit. They're gonna be like, oh my god, will they just check me out? Find a way to integrate something they've told you before about them in the past. Like what school they went to, something they like, whatever it is. Find a way to bring that up in the conversation, being like, oh, I remember you like this. They're gonna be like, hold up. And they're gonna love it. These are some subtle things you can do to make someone nervous or give them butterflies while you're talking to them. This works on guys and girls, so do it as you please. Say their name, okay? There's a reason why Rihanna says, say my name, say my name, say my motherfucking name. Because it's hot, okay? When you're already hitting it off with someone.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out how I can hear her now, because I can't hear her. I just gotta get myself... Get this thing together, man. I need to get this thing together, man. This shit crazy, boy. Oh, I know. I know how to do this. I'm so smart, guys. This is it. We got it.
and they say your name, it's like, ooh. Do it. Check them out while you're talking to them, okay? It's not a hard thing to do. You just gotta do the classic up, down. So while you're talking to them, you just pull a little... Do it with a more seductive face, but that's it. And the power you fucking hold. They're gonna be nervous as shit. They're gonna be like, oh my god, will they just check me out? Find a way to integrate something they've told you before about them in the past. Like what school they went to, something they like.
Okay. I know this is the long-winded way to do this. We got it now. Let's clap it up in the chat. That was tough. I had to figure out the technical difficulties on stream. Never forget that you're always going to do it if you put your mind to it. Don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Because I did it. I was frustrated. They tried to hold us down. Do you know that the men who are trying to use you and abuse you were trying to hold us down? They were trying to give us technical difficulties so that we couldn't get this done. But we got it done. And we're never going to stop. All right, let's get to it. All right, so this is the first one. You guys have heard this like multiple times, but you're going to get my reaction here.
Whatever it is, find a way to bring that up in the conversation. Be like, oh, these are some subtle things you can do to make someone nervous or give them butterflies while you're talking to them. This works on guys and girls, so do it as you please. Say their name, okay? There's a reason why Rihanna says, say my name, say my motherfucking name, because it's hot, okay? When you're already hitting it off with someone and they say your name, it's like, ooh, do it. Check them out.
Okay. I'm going to start off by saying it doesn't work. I mean, saying someone's name, theoretically, yes, saying someone's name will make them, when people like to hear their name, okay? So theoretically, yes, that might make them be a little bit more tuned into the conversation, but saying someone's name's not going to do what she's making it seem like it does.
While you're talking
I'm
to
just,
them, okay?
I'm just giving you this as a guy. Just like, that's not the advice that you think it is.
It's not a hard thing to do. You just gotta do the classic up, down. So while you're talking to them, you just pull a little... Do it with a more seductive face, but that's it. And the power you fucking hold. They're gonna be nervous as shit. They're gonna be like...
The up-down look does work if you're mastering the art of femininity. So if you're not able to do this right, you're going to look weird. The same way where I talk about one of the best ways to get a guy's attention is to give him a like look in the club or in the party or whatever it is. There's an art to that. So you can't do it in a way where your eyes are wide open and you're like, oh, I see you. Do you see me? I'm going to stare at you. That's going to be very weird, and it's not going to come across how you want it to come across. However, if you do this the right way, you can make a guy nervous, but you really have to be tapped in there. Obviously, it's just a 30-second video, so she's not going to talk about the skill, but yeah.
Oh my god, will they just check me out? Find a way to integrate something they've told you before about them in the past. Like what school they went to, something they like, whatever it is. Find a way to bring that up in the conversation. Be like, oh, I remember you like this. They're going to be like, hold up. And they're going to love it. These are some
I mean, I guess this applies to like if you've known them in like high school and stuff like that. It is good to bring up something someone says to you in a conversation and repeat it back to them, because it shows them that you're paying attention to what they're saying and it shows that you're a good listener. However, if you've not obviously met someone before, it doesn't apply the same. And this is assuming you're having some sort of rapport beforehand. But if you're trying to be looking like a better listener, yes, this will work. In general, if you're thinking that that's going to make someone like you more, that's not that, though. It just makes you look like a better listener, which will get people more engaged, which might get you more information. Okay, I hope that makes sense.
You can't lose yourself in a relationship because you're going to miss you. At one point in time, you're going to go, wow, what happened to me? Sometimes you just need to be by yourself to collect your thoughts. It's an overwhelming thing, especially if the other person is making you feel responsible for their happiness. That's a toxic relationship if you have to be responsible for somebody else's.
I actually really agree with this, and it's funny because this is actually something I talk about all the time, in that when you go into a relationship, and we talk about it in the show, you got to be so hyper aware of like what's important to you, what you care about, what you want to spend your time doing, what you enjoy doing, because you need to take that into a relationship. You can't come into the relationship hoping that the guy that you spend your time with will be everything to you and make your life, make your day, make your year, make your whole universe. Because when you center men to the point where they become the be all and end all of your universe, it's not good. And you're not going to end up in a good place, and they're only going to mistreat you when they realize that they are the center of your universe and you have nothing going for you. So you're hearing it from Steve Harvey, the same thing that I've been telling you guys. So you know I'm not talking out of my butt, okay?
Highly controversial take, but I don't want...
Oh, this is one that was sent to me on our Discord. So make sure you guys are submitting show ideas in the show ideas, in the reacts section, things that you guys want me to react to, because this was one of them. I might fast forward through this so that you guys can.
A man who's loyal
this can be faster.
By therapy. I want a man who's loyal by nature. This is actually something I heavily considered when I was deciding whether or not I wanted to end things with my ex. But loyalty and integrity are personality traits. And if you have to learn those in order to be a good partner to me, I don't want you. I understand the argument of like, everyone's capable of infidelity, blah, 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 but everyone's also capable of unaliving someone. There's a large majority of us who know that's wrong. I shouldn't do that. Now, I tried he can change. He'll go to therapy and change. And he did go to therapy. And he didn't change. It just irks me that I was capable of being loyal to you from the start. And you have to go to therapy to maybe, possibly, potentially, with no guarantee, be loyal to me in the future. It's not to say that I don't think that you should give out second chances. I gave out second, third, fourth, fifth chances. I'm full of chances. But it is to say that if you're considering staying with someone who's telling you that they're going to go to therapy, they're going to get the help, ask yourself, do you want someone who is loyal by therapy or loyal by nature? And tread very carefully. If you think...
Okay. What I want to say to that is I get what she's trying to say in that she doesn't want someone who has to learn to be a good partner. In a perfect world, we would all just get the partner we want with no work, no effort, and they would just come to us absolutely ready. However, you guys know me. I like to live my life with balance, and I don't believe that any one extreme ideology is the right way of thinking. So I say that to say, I do think that people who have made mistakes in the past are capable of making changes and having you, for example, if someone has cheated on their ex, or let's just say done bad things in their last relationship, is capable of having better relationships in the future and learning from that experience. That obviously, having that experience or having that as a pattern or habit will make it easier for him to continue doing that in the future with you, which is why we discuss those things in the Players Club. But I also, what she's saying in that, hey, I already want someone who has the integrity and the loyalty and all that good stuff. Yes. But you also have to understand that part of what makes a person is their experiences. That might not make a lot of sense to you if you're on the younger side, but people grow into their personality as well. Just keep that in mind when you're meeting people. Part of the reason why I always tell you guys, when you're meeting someone, just allow yourself to absorb them and analyze them so that you can properly understand who they are, how they're presenting themselves to you, and what they're about. Try not to go into your relationships or dating stages with preconceived notions of what that person is like based on what you want or based on some artificial red flag that you may have seen before you actually met them. Meet the person first and use the actual information you have from meeting the person to analyze and learn who they are, not hypothetical stuff that's not actually present. Okay, let's
these
go
are some
to the
subtle
next one
things.
here.
These are some things guys wish girls understood. Boys, feel free to let me know if I've made a mistake. They're so complimentary.
I'll definitely let you know.
Deprived. Like, they never get compliments. So if you compliment them, it will mean the absolute world to them, and they'll probably never forget it. So take this as your sign to compliment a guy. I don't even know how this.
Okay, we'll pause that there. Look at me in my eyes. I'm a guy. Don't jump out the window complimenting a guy that you just met. It's not going to work out for you the way that you think it's going to work out. Guys will take that as you really, really like me and you really, really want me. Because you really like me and you really want me, I'm going to do less for you, okay? The worst thing you can do is jump out the window at the very beginning. And when I just say jump out the window, I just mean like right before I even really know you, I start telling you all the ways that you're amazing. Guys will take that as, first of all, I didn't even earn that. So why are you telling me that? And I haven't done anything for you to be of that belief. You don't even actually know who I am. He's going to think to himself, wow, really easy to pull the wool over your eyes now that I realize that you're praising me for doing nothing. Okay, don't do that.
This is possible, but apparently guys have the ability to think about nothing. Like they can just make their mind go blank. Sounds impossible, right? But they can do it. So if you ask a guy what he's thinking about and he says nothing, odds are he's telling the truth. When a guy's in a relationship,
I would disagree with that. I think that there's always usually something on guys' minds. I just don't think that all the time guys are particularly wanting to share that. And I think that sometimes also when guys say there's nothing on their mind, they just mean there's nothing bothering them or something that's making them unhappy. Usually there's a connotation when someone asks you, is something on your mind? People usually interpret that as, oh, tell me if something is bothering you. And a lot of times guys are interpreting when you ask, is something on your mind, as is something bothering you. So when they say nothing's on my mind or whatever, I'm not thinking about anything, they just mean nothing at this current moment is bothering or upsetting me. I'm present and enjoying this current moment. That doesn't mean that their mind is just blank or they're not thinking about anything. They could just be thinking about enjoying the day. Okay, but just that's the way people absorb information a lot of times.
Relationship, he needs constant reassurance that you still care about him because they have this fear inside them that tells them that she's losing interest, she doesn't like you anymore, whatever. They freak out.
Okay. I think we've had enough of Sahar today. Don't do this. Don't be giving guys constant reassurance. It's only gonna make you look like a pick-me. Please don't do this, okay? I know that she means well in making her video and it's got a lot of likes, a lot of comments and stuff like that. Please don't do this. We're in the Players Club. I'm a guy. I'm trying to help you understand. Giving men a ton of compliments from the very beginning is not going to put you in the position that we wanted to. She looks like a Disney princess. So yes, it seems like in a Disney princess story, you compliment guys a lot. They'll give you a lot of compliments back. No, when you compliment them a lot, you reassure them a lot. All they do is look over you to the next girl who's not complimenting them. Please do nothing.
Thanks,
hey, it's great to meet you. Oh, thank you so much.
So let's see. This is Jimmy on relationships.
Yeah, you too. So I'm a narcissist. Yeah. But you seem so nice. Oh, I'm pretending. Really? Yeah, I figured out if I'm charming and funny and give you lots of attention and affection, then I can get you to fall in love with me. Why do you need me to fall in love with you? Oh, because then you're less likely to leave. Once I start lying and belittling and gaslighting you and chipping away at your self-worth in order to control and manipulate you. Huh. Yeah, it works especially well if you have a history of trauma where you tend to blame yourself even though you're the one being neglected. That sounds like abuse. Oh, it definitely is. Why would you do that? Oh, I'm deeply insecure. I can see that. Yeah, I have a massively fragile ego and a fear of rejection, so I've created a fantasy world in which I'm the center of the universe and everyone else is inferior. Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you for telling me all this up front before we formed a complicated trauma bond that would have caused me years of misery. Yeah, well, I just want people to know what they're getting into. I mean, you by chance don't struggle with a lack of boundaries and self-esteem issues, do you? I do, actually. Dang it. We probably would have made a great pair. Yeah, I bet. A good thing you showed me these red flags up front so I could protect myself. Well, if there's one thing
Dang it. We would have made a great pair. But what he says here is facts because you have to understand, guys become really good at meeting you. And remember, if you go back here,
give you lots of attention and
I want you to understand, like, even though this is like a joke
so nice.
and a video that's supposed to be funny, I want you to understand, like, when guys meet you, there is an evaluating process to understanding which type of girl are you? How do you carry yourself? How do you go about things? Because they're trying to understand, are you the type of girl who I can utilize and take advantage of? Or are you someone who's too secure in yourself, knows your worth, has self-respect, that you'll walk away from me the moment I start messing with you or messing with your head, right? So you want to be aware of the fact that guys are also evaluating you when they meet you. And if you notice, a lot of the stuff that we talk about in the Players Club is stuff that he mentions here as well. Remember, I talked to you guys about guys know they're not idiots, but they know how to fake their personality as well. So don't be confused by that.
If you just met somebody or started dating somebody recently and they say one of these 3 things, do yourself the favor and fucking run. 1, I'm not looking for anything serious. This is not a fucking invitation for you to try to prove yourself to them that look what you're gonna be missing out and look how amazing I am and I can get any guy to want me and to be with me, blah, blah, blah. They're telling you they are going to hurt you if you continue with them. If someone is being that blatantly honest up front, trust me, you could literally be the most incredible, perfect woman or guy in the entire planet. It is not going to change somebody if they are telling you that they don't want a relationship. Trust me. And if it is something that you do pursue, that is when you need to look into yourself. Why are you chasing?
Okay, I want to pause it right there on what she said, because I be saying this. Thank you. I be saying this to y'all. Look, you guys need to understand. Guys telling you that they don't want a relationship is not an invitation to change them, like she said. Please hear guys when they're saying that. Hear guys when they're telling you that all the relationships haven't worked out or they're not in the headspace to do that. And you need to completely remove yourself from those people. Don't spend your time on guys waiting around for them to be ready in a relationship with you, because the reality of it is the longer you wait and the more you invest in that guy, as you begin to invest more in him, it makes it that much more painful to walk away from him because of that increasing amount of investment. And as you continue to invest, you make it harder to walk away. So then you just end up in this vicious cycle where you're investing in someone, waiting for them to be ready. They're never ready, but as that time is going on while you've been waiting for them to be ready, you're becoming impatient, but you're also fearful of walking away because you're going to waste a body and waste all this time with them. It's horrible.
Emotionally unavailable people. Why are you going after people? Is it because this is a core wound or a trauma that you have since you were a child, that you have to prove yourself, that you have to show your worth, that you have to win somebody over? Are you going after somebody who's unavailable because you know you're not going to get them and it's a bit safer for you? Start to look into that one if that's something you're going to pursue. 2, you're just too good for me. Listen. We all want the best. Everybody wants the best version of a partner. So if somebody is going to tell you, you're just too good to me, you're too good for me, and I don't deserve you, that is also their very nice and subtle way of saying, I'm going to fucking hurt you. When somebody identifies a prize and something that's amazing, they're not going to let that walk away unless they don't really genuinely see that person as being a prize. So if somebody is going to blow hot smoke up your ass and tell you that, take it as, thank you, you're right, and I will go find somebody that wants to
Yeah. Don't listen to sob stories from guys. I'm telling you this as a guy. So all of these strategy, the sob story, you're too good for me, all that other stuff. It's just a great way to get your walls down and your guard down, where you start thinking, oh, now I'll accept less because you've made it clear that you can only give me less right now. Actually, it's a great strategy for men to use, basically to prepare you for the fact that they're going to treat you like garbage, okay? And they know they're going to treat you like garbage. They want you to be emotionally and mentally prepared for the fact that they're going to treat you like garbage. So what do? They tell you that they don't have the facilities for that, big man. They don't have the facilities for that, that they don't have the facilities to treat you like a princess. They don't have the money. They don't have the smarts. They don't have the intelligence. They don't have the whatever required to treat you like a princess. And they're letting you know that ahead of time, hopefully so that when you stay, you can accept less.
Claim how amazing I fucking am. Number 3, I have learned personal experience with my ex. When a guy or girl that you're dating calls every one of their exes crazy, what that shows you is, 1, they take no fucking accountability. A relationship is 2 people. It's very easy to spew that everybody is a narcissist and every guy I've dated is an asshole and everyone. But what it also says is, well, then why are you allowing it? Why are you sticking around? It's one thing to say, hey, I had one date with a guy, I've been having one-hit wonders with somebody and I'm just not connecting. But when somebody says every ex of mine is crazy, I learned that my ex said every one of his exes was crazy.
We don't even need to hear anymore. You guys be knowing I be saying that to y'all. Use the opportunity when you're dating guys to hear about their past. Do not get scared to ask a guy about his past relationships. It's so important to hear a guy talk about his past relationships in detail, because it gives you context, one, of the relationship and where it stands now, and also it tells you how he feels about that or what he thinks transpired from his own perspective. And if you hear all his exes are so crazy, they did him the absolute worst, they're all the devil in disguise, they're all these horrible human beings, all he did was sit aimlessly while he got punished and mistreated and disrespected by the most horrible person on this earth, and every single story is like that. One, that should tell you what you're about to be if you ever break up with him or you're his ex-girlfriend. And number two, that should also make you aware that he clearly doesn't see issue in anything that he does. We can call it a narcissist, we can call it just a narcissistic trait, but that is something that's going to be very hard to build a relationship with, because remember, like I said to you guys earlier in the show, that when you're building a relationship with a guy, you're always going to eventually have disagreements and, places in which you guys are going to butt heads. That's fine, but if a guy, let's say, hurts you or disrespects you or just crosses a boundary of yours, and he's never capable of seeing himself as doing wrong at all, it's going to be very difficult to get an apology out of that person. And if you can't get an apology out of someone, or they can't be held accountable, how are you supposed to move forward in a relationship and actually not just see the same mistakes all the time? Okay.
Five of them. We're all fucking.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Ever since I heard this theory, I cannot get it out of my mind. Men marry the woman in front of them at the time they are ready to get married. Let's talk about it. So I was scrolling through TikTok one day, as we all do, and I came across this photographer. She's obviously been at a lot of weddings, and she observed that the men were marrying the woman in front of them at the time that they were ready to get married, implying that that wasn't necessarily that man's soulmate or that man's love of his life. It was just the girl he was dating at the time he was ready to get married and settle down. Like, when you decide, especially a man, when a man decides that he is financially and emotionally ready for marriage and ready to settle down and ready to start a family, he takes a way different approach to dating. That part in his brain of oh, there's another girl out there, shuts off. Because now his focus is on marriage. It's not in finding the next best thing. Are y'all following? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I need to know.
Okay, I actually agree with this. And I actually want you guys to use this as a piece of information that you take with you and learn from. See, one of the things that a lot of you guys, when you're talking to me and asking me questions, and we're going to hop into the Discord in a little bit, you guys are asking me questions. A lot of times you guys are confused because you're saying, well, why is he not treating me this way? Why is he not acting right? Why is he not showing me the type of treatment that I know I want and deserve in a relationship? Why is he not taking this seriously? And I always tell you guys that it's not your job to make a man take this relationship seriously. It's also not your job to try to think of different things that you can do to speed him up in the process of taking this seriously, or pushing this relationship forward. When I say pushing the relationship forward, I just mean escalating it, taking you guys from just being casual daters to being exclusive, from being exclusive to actually fully officially dating, from officially dating to proposing and things like that. And some of you are asking, okay, well, what can I do to stimulate that happening faster, or stimulate that working better, or anything, or be more efficient or whatever? And I'm trying to explain to you guys, and I want you guys to understand this, when guys are actually mentally prepared, they will come to their own realization and they will act on that realization. Your job is not to speed up that realization. Your job is to analyze, is the guy that I'm with, even in the mental position, emotionally and spiritually, where he's ready to actually build a serious relationship? You're not giving him anything. You're not sleeping with him. You're not letting him jackrabbit himself inside of you for 90 seconds or less until you understand clearly, are you here for the right reason, and do you have the right mindset and approach brought to this relationship? That's all of the stuff you're analyzing. So that includes, are you in the place where you're ready to marry the next woman? Because some guys will meet you and they're ready to marry the next woman. So they're prepared to take things to the next level. They're prepared to build with you. You're not having to like speed him up, send him more text messages, or do this or do that to get him ready. Now, I want you to understand there's still strategy involved in being the most desirable version of yourself. But when you're doing the things that we talk about in the Players Club, being the most desirable version of yourself, and he's also ready, all of it will be working together and you won't have to struggle. If you're noticing that everything that you're trying to do is not working and it's still not showing. So for example, if you're noticing, you're saying, Tomisin, you tell me not to text guys so much and not be a textaholic. But when I don't text me, he doesn't call me. He doesn't text me either. He doesn't reach out to me. We don't talk at all. Love, that's not because the strategy is not working. That's because the guy you're dating is not even in a mental space where he's even ready to build a relationship. Maybe not with you and maybe not at all. Because when guys are ready and you utilize these strategies, what you're doing is you're stimulating the process even more intensely, because you're actually giving him the space to want you and pursue you. Now, if you're giving him the space to want you and pursue you and he doesn't want you or want to pursue you or build with you or marry you, or he's not even in the mind frame to do that, you'll be frustrated. Okay, let's go to the next one.
When women don't care.
Oh, it's Shira. You guys love Shira. Let's see what Shira's got to say today, and we'll see if I agree with it or not. I just picked a few videos of her, so let's see what Shira has to say.
That's when men care the most. Why? Because it's like you blew them off. You rejected them. You feel like you can do better. This guy's been, interested in you, but you can take him or leave him. Men's ego is going to kick right on in and try to pursue you just to say that they could get you, right? Meantime, that's exactly what you want. Why? Because if they get you too quick and they get you emotionally wrapped around their finger, then where is the challenge? He already won. He has all the power, and all you have is a bundle of feelings getting ready to be stomped on. Okay? 100%. So what I'm telling you guys is some of you ladies are too nice. Some of y'all, I just want, the fairy tale. I just want to be loved. I just want to feel a connection. Okay, great. Save that for when you're married with a ring and a marriage license and all that. Don't.
What do I be telling y'all? Give men nothing. You need to understand, when you give men nothing and they already want you or are interested in you, it allows them to say, wow, what a girl. She's giving me nothing. She seems barely interested in me. I want to do everything in my power to prove to her that I am the guy that she's looking for. I see that other guys want her. They want to pursue her. They want to be with her. I want to make myself known to be the number one prospect that she picks me. You can actually turn men into pick-me's. It's possible. But you have to give them nothing. I know that you guys get excited about the guys that you really like. But that's the problem, is that the guys you really like, you show preferential treatment for, you start worshiping them from the very beginning, you tell them how amazing they are, their head gets big, and they start thinking to themselves, she ain't no challenge, bro. She loves me. She's obsessed with me. Why I gotta be obsessed with her? She's already fascinated by me. And so they move on mentally to something else.
Don't give this to people who haven't even asked you to be their girlfriend. Don't give that to people who are not intending to marry you. Don't give that to people who don't want you to have their last name. Don't do 100%. That. Why? Because what have they given you?
Nothing.
The same thing that you've given them, some time. Okay? You need more than that. So a lot of ladies, stop it. Sometimes, when people hear your situation from a distance and, from a different perspective, they just want to slap you.
Okay, wait a second. I didn't watch this. Okay. I wasn't expecting. That was funny. That was funny. But honestly, what she just said there is facts. Okay. And I really want you to understand that. Okay. Don't be jumping out the window to do more for guys. Because some of you, I know this because I read all your comments and we're actually friends. We spend a lot of time together. So I know that some of you guys hop in here, and when I talk about signs or when I talk about things to make yourself more desirable or make yourself irresistible and things like that, you're thinking, oh, let me do that on this guy and then he's going to want me and he's going to want to be in a relationship with me. Meanwhile, you're doing all the other things wrong. And meanwhile, as you're thinking about how to do more for him, sometimes, a lot of times, you end up actually being less desirable because of all the things you're trying to do more for him to prove to him that he should want you. What we talk about in the Players Club, I know we talk about men a lot, but I want you to change your understanding to understanding that the most desirable version of yourself is actually the version of yourself that invests into you and doesn't pay the guys even that you like any mind, especially the guys that you like. Be strategic about paying them no mind because it will trigger something in them where they say, I have to have her. When you like a guy, that is the moment where you should be. I'm gonna tell you this just for your future, for your benefit. The moment you meet a guy and you start liking him, I want you to immediately go on my YouTube page and watch every video from morning until night, until you go to bed, so that you can know how to approach him and treat this relationship from the very beginning and not get jumbled up in the, oh, I like him so much, so I want to make exceptions for him and I want to do everything with him that I never allowed any other guy to do with me, okay? Come into the Players Club, watch all the videos so you can know I'm going to make sure because I like you, I treat you like just one of the guys. That you are very, very humbled in your approach to me. That way I receive princess treatment from you and I actually want to be with you so my life is good. Okay? I want you guys to be thinking of it like that. I think for the rest of the video, she just
You don't
kind of
ever
goes on here. We don't need to watch all of that, right?
Whatever. I'm just going to be 1,000% honest. If I were 22 today, I would not be dating black men at all.
Damn.
Unless they were older.
Damn.
They'd have to be real old.
Damn.
Because they're too feminine these days for me.
Damn.
I like masculine, go get them, I'm going to pay for that baby type men.
Damn.
Where you want to go on vacation type men.
Damn.
That's what I like. If I was 22 today, I wouldn't date.
Okay. Obviously, she no like black men if she 22 dating now. Me black men, unless I'm confused. Maybe I am. Here's the thing. What she's actually discussing here, while, she's funny and stuff like that, there's a little bit of truth to it, but it doesn't even just apply to black men. It actually applies to a lot of men nowadays. And it's partially because men understand that if they hide behind the ideology that, feminism and equality, and of course equality is good, and feminism, what it stands for, supposed to stand for, is good in itself. But they also realize that a lot of people in your life and in society are pushing the narrative that you should do more and you should be like the men because you're equal to the men. So the way men carry themselves, you should do it like that. The way men go about life, you should do it like that. So what men realize is that, hey, a lot of other women are preaching that, hey, go for the men. You see, it's funny. Shira's older. She's talking about don't pay the men any mind, don't show them attention and stuff like that, stuff that I talked to you guys about. And remember, the other girl that we discussed here earlier,
things girls do. These are some things guys wish girls understood.
She's obviously on the younger side, and a lot of her advice was to give them compliments, was to do more for them, reassure them 24/7. So you see how that works in the opposite sense. Because see, if the girls your age are telling you, reassure them, compliment them, make sure you're doing this for him, make sure you're doing that for him, what do you think happens to the guys? The guys watch this, consume this, and they realize, oh, all the women nowadays in this generation are under the impression that they should be doing more for me. Even if we're just building something and not actually in a relationship yet. So what they realize is I can be more feminine, which is exactly what Cher said she would not be doing, right? They realize I can be more feminine because the women are convincing each other that they should be reaching out and doing more for us because equality, right? And because equality, I get to sit back, relax, and do nothing while she does all the work in the relationship. She's watching all these videos on how to scrub the floor and how to clean the dishes and give me a handy and give me a footy all at the same time. So a lot of the men adopt the mindset that I don't even have to play you. I don't have to lie to you. I don't have to sell you on a dream. I just have to sit back, relax while you desperately seek my attention and hope that I'll pick you. Okay, someone said too many pick-meishes. Precisely, okay?
You can play basketball and football.
I think that's kind of like the extent of what she said. But like I said, I agree with the sentiment. Obviously, I don't think that applies to any one particular race. I would never say that. But definitely, I think the sentiment applies to all races of men, not just black men.
If you ugly and a man that looks better than you is even talking to you, it's BS. Okay. There you go. That's how you know that's BS. When you know you look bad and a cute man is approaching you, it's already BS. Okay. There you go. That's how you know. They don't want you representing them on their arm unless they can benefit from you. That's how you know. I'm sorry to tell you guys.
Oh my God.
But they're just wanting to use you to be Bob the Builder chick with. Be car down payment chick, income tax chick, or whatever. They are not there for you. Okay? So if you see a man that looks better than you.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's have a little bit of a conversation here. I won't be phony and say that looks don't matter. Okay? I will never be that phony to you. When we're talking about men, of course, looks matter. Let's be clear, though. Looks aren't everything. All right? Let me say that. However, there is a level of truth to the reality that men might show you attention for different reasons depending on where they are in their own life. There are times in a man's life where he might show you attention because of the position that you are in, because of the opportunity that you could give him, because there are women in the workforce as well that are in high positions, because of the resources that you have. So for example, a broken, dusty man could be using you for the resource of being able to have a car, being able to get from place to place, being able to have money, being able to have a nice apartment. And he could be utilizing you and showing you attention for that reason instead of the reason that you're just attractive. Now, this is where I don't want you to get your, so confuzzled and nervous that you're like, oh my God, any guy that shows me attention or any guy that says I'm cute is actually utilizing me. I need you to understand that this does happen. It doesn't always happen though, okay? But the way you figure that out, it's not rocket science. All you have to do is allow yourself to analyze what are you actually looking for? Now, you don't go out and ask that. You use the advice that I give you about getting guys to talk about themselves and their own life. And I promise you, the better of a listener you become in your relationships and your talking stages and your dating stages, the better your life will continue to be because you'll have so much more clarity. Get really good at asking men about their own life, what they want, what they're doing, what they think, and understanding their mind when you're dating them. It'll tell you a lot about what they're trying to do here, and they'll reveal a lot to you about what they're really trying to do here, okay? I think that was the extent of all the ones that we had today. So we'll go ahead and pause it there. So I hope you guys got some good stuff from that. And we're going to hop into our next segment, okay? Do you guys know what our next segment is? Okay. Are you aware of what the next segment is? Do you know what time it is here in our chat here? Please tell me in the chat if you're very aware of what time it is. I want to know in the chat if you know what time it is. Can you tell me in the chat what time it is? Don't look at your watch. Don't look at the clock. Don't look at your phone. Don't look at anything in your home. You need to be looking at me, paying attention to the screen, okay? Because Discord time. Let's get it. Okay. For all you amazing people here, let's hop right into the Discord time. We've got so many segments here now. Isn't that amazing that we have lots of different segments here? Don't worry, tomorrow it's going to be so smooth with our transition of segments. Don't you worry. All right, so let's hop into our Discord. For those of you who are new here and don't know what Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me a question in the Discord, and I answer it of their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Okay, so you have multiple options to send me in a question. You can do our free relationship advice section just by going into the link in the bio on TikTok or the link in the description on YouTube, and ask me a question in our free relationship advice forum. Now, I'll warn you, this forum is filled with a lot of questions that I haven't answered yet, and I go from oldest to newest questions. So if you ask your question today, it's going to take me about a month to get to yours because the oldest question is about a month old, okay? And I have to do first come, first serve. Now, if you're too impatient for that, to wait for you to get your question answered in the free section, you have another opportunity to get your question answered faster by going into our relationship advice premium section, where you get to skip the line. It's like a VIP pass at a theme park. You get to skip the line and I answer your question first before I go into the queue of the free relationship advice section, okay? All you have to do to access that is go to the same link in my bio or in my description on YouTube, and then you go ahead and click where it says Premium Relationship Advice. You donate to the show, you put your Discord username and what the title of your question is going to be, and then you put your question there, and I verify on my end that that is you and that is your question so that it's fair to all the other members of the Players Club. Now, if you're someone as a third option that doesn't want to have your question be live on the show, but you still would love to get my input and advice on it, you also have the option to go into our private relationship advice section, where all you have to do is click the link. It's in our Discord, or it's in my link in my bio on TikTok or in the description. You get this link where it says private relationship advice, and then you click and you fill out the form there that it will show you, bring you to, and you'll be able to get your question answered just one-on-one. I'll email you back my response after you submit your question, and I'll give you a voice message response. Very thorough, okay? So let's start off today with our premium relationship advice question. First from Princess. Princess asks, is he playing me? I'm 29 and I moved to a new country in Europe. Since I've lived here, I've been trying to network. So I joined Hinge to meet new people. I've been using the app for the past 2 months and I've been getting a few matches. Typically, I'll have short conversations on the app and then direct them to my Instagram and continue the conversations there. This happened several times, so now I have quite a few guys from Hinge following me on Instagram, and I follow them back. Is this supposed to be a flex? Princess, this is not a flex. Recently, I matched with a guy who's 29 on Hinge who really caught my attention. We've been talking for about a month now. About a week after we matched, he suggested going on a date, but I wasn't able to due to other commitments. Now, we finally found a day that works for both of us this weekend. However, I did some digging and discovered that a lot of guys I matched with on Hinge are friends with him. They seem pretty close as he commented on their pictures and shown brotherly love. Some of these guys are even in my close friends' stories on Instagram and Snapchat. And while I did talk to a few of them briefly, the conversations were very short and basic, lasting no more than a week. There was nothing inappropriate exchange, and that's probably why the conversations faded out. Now I'm wondering if this guy knows that I've matched with many of his friends. We've been talking consistently for 4 weeks and he's been initiating dates. I couldn't make it due to other commitments. He's saying all the right things and I see potential for something long term. However, I'm worried that he might be just playing me, especially if he knows about the connections with his friends. He is currently acting like he wants a committed relationship, but I'm scared he could just be lying or just joking around to eventually sleep with me. What are your thoughts on this guy? Am I overthinking it? Thanks. Princess. I see your conundrum here. And there's obviously we have to address the elephant in the room, which is your problem stems from being chronically on dating apps. I know that you're on dating apps for a reason, and I'm not saying you're a bad person for being on dating apps, but you have to understand that you're in this situation because of the dating apps. And obviously on a dating app, you're going to be matching with a bunch of people in your area. And so especially if you have the radius of your area set to a very close range, you're going to be meeting a lot of the same guys. And there's a good chance if you're meeting guys in the same area that are of the same age and you have probably a type, you're meeting the same type of guys, which are likely friends in a friend group or in an extended friend group, right? That live in a similar town and know of each other. I say all that to say that's part of the... You need to understand from a guy's perspective, if he were to find out that you've been talking to these other guys as well, I'll be super real with you. It is going to bring down your value in his eyes. There's just no way around that because he's going to be thinking I matched with the most beautiful, amazing girl and she's all mine. And then when he tells his other guy friends about you, they're going to say, I was literally just messaging that girl, or I was Snapchatting her, or I follow that girl on IG. And I'll just be real with you. It's going to dwindle down his excitement to like be with you from knowing that literally his guy friends have already either talked to you beforehand. And I know you didn't sleep with them. And I know for most of them, it was just casual Snapchatting. But you do have to understand what that does to a guy, especially a guy who's really excited about you and tells his friends about you when his friends are saying, I already know that girl. In fact, I messaged that girl and I used to like message her on Snapchat. I still have her on Snapchat, or I already have her on Instagram. He's thinking I'm showing them a girl that they've never heard of and they're going to compliment me and be like, bro, how'd you bag that? Instead, they're saying, oh yeah, I've already been there, done that. Not that they slept with you, but that's what he's going to feel. You understand what I'm saying? It's not good. And it's such an easy thing to avoid by just not being chronically available on dating apps. Remember, I talked to, if you're spending a lot of time in the show, I do talk to you guys about supply and demand and how desire is very related to the psychology of business and marketing, right? If the supply is too high and there's not enough demand, people see that value as low. Vice versa, if there's a whole lot of demand and not enough supply to go around, it's not very available, people see that value as very, very, very high. So you want to be making sure that when it comes to guys and your availability to other guys, that you're in low availability despite a lot of guys wanting you. I know that I diss dating apps a lot, and I know that you guys aren't bad people for being on dating apps. But I do want you to understand that when you hop on the dating app and all is required of guys to meet up with you or to message you is to swipe right on you and on a couple of your pictures, and then they swipe right on thousands of other women, it doesn't speak well to your ability to like stand out from the crowd or be different, right? Or make guys feel differently towards you because of the way they met you. That can always stick in a guy's mind, the way that they met you. And a lot of times that can affect their value of you or the value that they see in you, unfortunately. So what I'll say to you is in terms of answering your situation on what you should do moving forward, I think you need to get yourself off the dating app. So delete the dating apps. Let's start meeting people in real life in different ways other than on dating apps. Now, also, when it comes to this situation and what you're going to do with these guys, I think the best thing for you to do is, if he brings it up, you knowing his guy friends, I would love for you to embrace that head on and say, yeah, I met those guys on the dating app, but to be honest, I don't use dating apps no more. I just have not enough time on my hands, and I don't even like, meeting guys on dating apps. I'm much more of an in-person person. So if he brings that up, I want you to step on that right away. And I would love for you to get even more ahead of it by unfollowing them, because the same way I said, if his guy friends show him that, hey, I've been talking to this girl already, and while they're showing him that, he clicks on their profile and then they realize that you've unfollowed them or you don't follow them anymore, real good for them. So actually, there's a really neat trick now on Instagram and stuff that you can do, where not only can you unfollow people, but you can also remove them as a follower. So if you really want to be sneaky and be one step ahead of the curve here, you go on their Instagrams. Not only do you unfollow them, but you remove them as a follower as well. That way, when he does pull it up and they're like, wait, but I swear I was following this girl and I swear we were used to talk and stuff like that and this and that, it makes it seem like she doesn't mess with you anymore. The guy friend anymore. And so he gets humbled a little bit, but it also makes the guy that's talking to you feel a little bit better, knowing that, yeah, maybe you used to talk to her, but you don't got no chance anymore. That's good for you. Okay, you want that. Now, aside from that, all you can do to determine if he's playing you is by observing his actions. There's nothing more that you can do from that, because you're not going to know anything until you know something for real. Okay? Does that make sense? I want to shout out Poker Chick, who donated $10 in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Poker Chick. And thank you to all of you guys who donated in the TikTok chat as well. Went through a lot of technical difficulties to get today done. So here we have the free relationship advice section, where we're going to scroll down. We're going to answer a few of these questions here. First, let's do Taz. I did that one. CC. Let's do Taz here. So Taz asks, Reddit dating experience. Okay, so Taz says, I recently got out of a long situationship about 5 months ago. Excuse me. About a month and a half ago, I started feeling really lonely and bored. Chat, you know what that means when someone says they're feeling lonely and bored. You know where this is going. So I decided to explore Reddit dating. Oh, God. I don't know why I did. I didn't read the title. I just started reading. Chat, does anyone else use Reddit dating? Is this a viable option here? Is this better or worse than Hinge? When I hear Reddit dating, I just feel like there's no way this can go well. Yeah, someone said buckle up. Said buckle up. Yeah. I need to get a better seat in my chair here, because I'm nervous. Reddit dating. Okay. I met a guy who seemed really nice, at least at first. We're both in our late 20s and we hit it off right away. Things progressed quickly. We started messaging consistently throughout the day, but it wasn't overbearing, and soon moved from Reddit to exchanging phone numbers. Chat, Reddit dating is a thing? I'm so out of it, man. I'm too old. But that's when things started going downhill. Wow. The first red flag I noticed was what seemed like love bombing, or maybe some form of manipulation. Within the first week or two, he started giving me nicknames, saying he liked me, and even talking about going on my dream vacation together. You've met this guy on Reddit, and unless I'm confused, chat, Maybe I'm just too out of the loop. Please tell me if I'm confused. I do believe on Reddit, everyone has a random username, and almost no one is using their real name on Reddit. So I just say that to say, how do you know that the guy you're even meeting is even the guy you're even meeting? I know you got his number, but like, who knows if that's really him? It's not like there, and obviously on a dating app, theoretically, someone could make up a fake name and stuff like that as well. But there's a lot more accountability required on dating apps because you connect your Instagram profiles and things like that. And so you kind of get to like, you have to be like a person, right? For the profile to make sense and look real. On the other hand, it's a lot harder to spot if someone's catfish, if someone's faking, or who the real person is when they can hide behind a Reddit username. Because there's nothing about Reddit that requires, unless I don't know how Reddit dating is supposed to go. There's nothing on Reddit that really is required from people to kind of verify that that's really them. Okay? At least that's what I know from Reddit dating. Maybe I'm confused. Okay? And so you might not even know his real name. Let's go on. It felt a bit off, so I was upfront. That's the whole point of Reddit as well, is to be anonymous too, right? It felt a bit off, so I was upfront and told him I wasn't comfortable making such big plans with someone I barely knew from Reddit. Yeah, that's not unnatural. I suggested we should get to know each other better first. We continued talking, but things took another uncomfortable turn when he made some pineapple advances over the phone. I wasn't okay with that and told him so. To his credit, he respected my boundary and didn't do it again. Wait, sorry, chat. I need to scroll up because I need to say, did she ever say meeting him in person? She's talking about making a move. Exchange numbers, right? From Reddit, nicknames. She doesn't mention meeting each other in person. Get to know each other doesn't mean in person, right? So you're talking about making advances over the phone? Okay. Then came the gift giving. About a week and a half into our conversations, I casually mentioned wanting something. He offered to buy it for me. Not only that, but he even offered to give me his credit card to purchase it myself. This created a strong attachment for me because he was fulfilling my desires. Over the course of a month and a half, he spent over $2,000 on me. I thought it was great. He respected my boundaries, wasn't overwhelming me with texts, spoiled me, and made plans to come see me. Making plans and actually coming to see you is two different things. We are long distance, 6 hours apart. Everything seemed perfect, so I thought. Let's pause here for a second on something that I want us to be aware of. Anytime a guy is moving at a pace that seems unnatural, I want you to take note of the fact that it seems unnatural. Just be... I know as an individual, we all want to believe that we're amazing and awesome, and you are. Sometimes it requires you answering that question and stepping outside of yourself to really say there's something off here. And sometimes there can be something off even in the good that you're receiving. Because when it's coming like this is not a natural way for people to move when they're thinking rationally, or there's someone who can actually sustain a relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? Because feelings are meant to build over the course of time. They're not meant to be to the point where he spent $2,000 on you before knowing you. Where does it go from there? What does he do as a gift to you when he actually knows you? Spend $100,000 on you? What does he do when it's your birthday? Spend $1 million? Like, you just have, like, there's a certain point where you have to start saying to yourself, that's just unnatural for someone that I met on Reddit to spend $2,000 on me. You're getting money, yeah, but just think to yourself, what emotional state or thought process must you be going through to be in a place mentally to be doing that? Okay? A bit unnatural at the start. But then the lies started, of course, and they were small ones. I tried to get to know him better, asking about his past. Chat, what did I just say about meeting someone on Reddit and how it's anonymous and you might not know his real name? He told me he hadn't dated in over 5 years and that during this time, he was focusing on himself and his military career. Okay, let's just take a quick pause there. Based on that information, and I don't even know this guy, think to yourself, how many military veterans or people in the military have enough disposable income that they could just spend $2,000 on you and not bat an eye? Not to say that military people are poor. They don't have money. I'm sure a lot of them have money and a lot of benefits and they got a lot of other stuff going on. But just think about the career path he just told you that he's on. Does that sound conducive to someone who can just spend money on a person they've never met before? These are part of the things where you should be, as you're gathering information, start analyzing. Does that make sense or not? Do these things line up? A career in the military and $2,000 to spend on someone I don't even know doesn't really line up. So that should tell you in itself, there's probably either points of the story which I'm missing that have been omitted, or he's flat out lying to me. But something didn't sit right with me. So I went back to his Reddit profile to see what kind of things he was talking about. I discovered that his last relationship was much more recent, maybe a year or two ago, or even ongoing. Let's see what happens. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, saying those things didn't count because they were long distance. Huh, what's your relationship? Long distance? Let's go on. And he was lonely while stationed in Korea. But the way he talked about his exes in those comments didn't seem like he was indifferent to them. Another thing that bothered me was we never spoke on the phone, only through text, voice notes, and videos he sent. Out of the 30 videos, only one was shot inside his place, and even then, it was just in a bathroom. Okay, I want to acknowledge this because this is something that annoys me that you guys mentioned. And I don't want to be mean to you. What's the name of the person? Taz. I just want to be real with you. Reddit and dating apps, all these apps, they're great. They're great apps. They're awesome. Technology is great. But I also want you to be thinking about when you're trying to date people through some of these apps, especially Reddit. Not to diss Reddit, but Reddit is usually reserved for people who are like chronically online. Now, there's a community of people that are chronically online and they enjoy that and that's their thing. Nothing wrong with those people. But if someone is chronically online and you meet them through a chronically online avenue, don't be shocked when they go about their relationships like someone who's chronically online. Meaning, when it comes time to meet you in person or have real conversation with you or do something other than just messaging you all the time or using voice notes or any of the stuff that people would be doing that are chronically online, they shy away from that. Why? Because they're the type of personality that's chronically online. So... And this is where I want you all to understand how some of the things you're doing are counterproductive to what you want. So in this situation, Taz, you want a guy who actually is going to put in the work to seeing you in real life and building a real relationship with you. So you want a guy who really takes initiative in not just messaging you, but like going and seeing you and being with you and spending time with you. But you're not realizing that you're looking for the type of men who will take that level of initiative in places where most of those men would rather just message people. So think to yourself, I'm meeting someone on a messaging app or on an app where it's really just all about typing as much as you want to type. And I'm expecting the guy that I meet through that app to be eager to meet me in person and to be such a great in-person presence. The reality of it is the best in-person presences, right? And the best in-person characters and personalities are good at meeting people and talking to people in person because they practice that and because they do that a lot. So they're good at being charismatic. They're good at striking conversation. They're good at being interesting and fascinating and to draw you in person. Because they practice that skill so much, a lot of those type of people are not so good at being great texters. Vice versa, the people who are great texters, who can text you back in 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds flat, usually struggle with in-person meetings because they're not practicing that as much, especially not as much as they do practice being a great texter. So understand what you're looking for and understand the environment you're going to look for that specific thing. Okay, then you go on to say, I realized I had no idea who this person really was, like I said at the very beginning, so I did some digging. I searched his picture online and found an Instagram Flickr account. An Instagram account and a Flickr account and a LinkedIn profile, all under a name I didn't recognize and none of them in English. Chat, I don't read these ahead of time. And what did I tell you guys at the very beginning? Reddit is reserved for people to be anonymous. So dating someone through Reddit dating is an easy way to date someone that you don't even know their real name. Because majority of people, 90, probably 5% of Reddit is anonymous people that want to stay anonymous. They're on Reddit for a reason, okay? And so I say that to say going there to look for someone to date and expecting that person to be the person that's verifying their identity to you is a bit misguided because you're looking in the wrong place because all of those people are looking to be anonymous. When I asked him about the languages he spoke, he didn't mention Spanish, even though in his LinkedIn and some of his other social media seem to be in Spanish. The only reason I think he's being honest about his last name is that it matches what's on his military jacket and the card he gave me. I can't help but feel there's a logical explanation for all of this, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. Yeah, the explanation is logical. He's lying to you because he doesn't actually want to tell you the truth about who he is. Pretty logical. Some people have told me to keep talking to him and just enjoy the gifts, but I started to develop real feelings for someone you've never met. And I'm worried that continuing this will only end up hurting me. Am I being delusional? 100%. Yeah. You haven't met this guy. You're being delusional. I have a history of pushing people away, so I don't want to act on assumptions. What should I do? Do you think this could possibly work out in my favor? I think that you could get a lot of gifts, right? And if that's the favor that you want to work with, that can work out for you. But truthfully, let me just be super real with you. Taz, do I think the guy you met on Reddit dating is actually going to take the trip 6 hours to see you in person? No, I honestly don't. Okay. Is it possible that he can continue spending money on you? Very possible. Now, are you looking to be in a relationship or are you looking to just have a sugar daddy? If you just want a sugar daddy, I mean, you can continue doing what you're doing. But if you actually want a real in-person relationship, you might have to reconsider what you're doing here, because all you're doing so far is chit-chatting on a Reddit here, on over the phone, but you're not actually building this relationship anywhere in any direction. And based on what you said, I haven't gotten the sense that he is trying to build anything serious with you in general. Okay. I hope that makes sense. It's not to be mean to you, but see, the environment that you're looking for guys in is not conducive to someone who will be eager to meet you in person. Usually those people who are chronically online and on Reddit all the time, they want to stay on Reddit and they want to stay online and they just want to message. They don't really want to do the work of seeing you in person. Okay. And what you're emotionally attached to is not him for real. It's the character he presents to you over the phone. Because like you said, you haven't even gotten on a phone conversation with him and you're saying you're developing real feelings for him. How can you develop real feelings for a screen? Because that's all you've seen. A screen and some pictures. You never met him. Okay? Please don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of that and don't get yourself all twisted up and conjumbled up in an unnecessary situation here because of that. Okay? Let's go to our next question here. Let's see. Oh, I think Lida was saying that I skipped her. Did you send in? I seen that Lida said that she sent in a question. So, and I seen her donation. So let's go ahead into Lida's real quick. And we'll read Lida's out because Lida did donate here and I can see that here, okay? Update about the date. Hi, Tommy. I just came back from the date. I'm a bit confused. I don't know if I'm really getting something wrong and overthinking again. This is about the guy who messed up pulling away from me a few months ago after I said I was a virgin. We went on a date today. He drove us to a light festival museum. He paid for it. It was very beautiful. We laughed a lot, but you could literally smell that there's something in the air that is not communicated. He chose 2 seats that were a bit away from the crowd. It was rainy, so they were wet, but he used his jacket to make it dry so I could take a seat. There we had a very long conversation about our lives, his thoughts about life, where he wants to get, and how he feels in this moment in life, etc. So I used your advice to ask him a lot of questions. I listened to him and shared with him some information about how my life was going in the time where we were in no contact, but not much. He found out that I'm running a social media club, you might say, at my hometown, and I met some of his male friends there. He wanted to know how it came to that. I just said that his friend wanted to connect with me, and my other friend, nothing serious, just Instagram. Now, during the date, he didn't try to get closer in a physical way, as if he was scared of my rejection after what happened last time. I stayed true to my standards, no pineapples, but I can't describe to you how beautiful and funny this date was. Anyways, in his car, on our way back home, he started it. Tommy, the conversation, it is this conversation. I thought that for him, it was just a normal meetup after not seeing each other for a long time. But he actually wanted to talk to me about what happened. He started with, why didn't you want to pick up your earrings that you forgot? He admitted that his behavior on our last date a couple of months ago wasn't gentlemanlike, that he made a mistake and behaved horribly. Isn't it amazing and fascinating how guys realize or come to an understanding of how they mistreated you when you give them the time to think about that? It's funny, huh? He apologized for treating me like air and telling me off after that I am a virgin. Sorry, after you told him that you're a virgin. Tommy, I was shocked. It came out of his mouth. Even I couldn't say anything, but wow, you reflected yourself. I am very proud and thankful for that. Yes, I was really hurt. He said, to be honest, I was pineapple-y frustrated. I had 2 options in my hand. 1, you are lying to me that you are a virgin, or 2, you are not lying, just good at hiding it. But no matter that, it wasn't right for me. He said he could understand me very well. Before this long conversation, he asked me how my weeks look like. He wanted to see me maybe on Thursday, but because I told him that I wanted to go out with my friend on this day, maybe. So I wasn't sure if we meet on Thursday. So in the end of our date, after hugging me to say goodbye, I said, so we don't see each other on Thursday? He said, is this a statement? I said, no question. He said, I don't think so, but maybe Saturday. Looking, I think he meant to say, looking deep into my eyes the whole date long. In the end, I summed up the courage to ask him, was this a normal trip for you? He said, yes, without any bad ulterior idea. I said, good. I became anxious again, and it reminded me of his past unsettling behavior. So I just said, first, I want to thank you about this date and everything. He said, oh, okay. After thinking about it, you can let me know. Wait, what? I'm not really sure what that part meant there, but I think things are going well. I can sense that you're getting really excited about the possibilities, and your anxiety is growing, like you said. And I think you just need to stay calm. You don't want to be praising guys too much. There's a balance here. When guys do something good for you, yes, it's good, but you don't want to be praising him. Like, you don't want to be worshiping him just for treating you well. You know what I'm saying? And taking you out on a date. Like, there's a balance there where you appreciate him, but you don't want to make it seem like no guy has ever taken me out on a date before, okay? Stay calm a little bit and don't start saying, oh my God, this was the most perfect, amazing, magical princess story I've ever been in no guy has ever treated me this amazing as it's one date, okay? And he's going to start saying, what the hell's wrong with her? Before leaving, I turned to him and said, well, you know what? Maybe you should think about everything and what you want in life. He said, okay, you're doing too much. I know that you're young here, so you like to be extra dramatic for effect. Just stop doing that, okay? And you enjoyed your date. Just go home. Let him start thinking about you. You don't need to have your last moment. I get you're the main character and stuff like that, but not everything needs to be an outro song. I know that you're young and it feels like that. Just leave it. Just walk away. Let him miss you. Let him think about you. Let him be the one saying, I want to see you again. Okay. Someone said, act like this is a standard. Yes. Act like this is standard. It's not supposed to be something new for you and dramatic for you. He said something, but I couldn't hear it. He responded to me saying, what? With nothing, and laughed. I laughed as well and said, good night. He said, good night. Now I'm anxious for 2 reasons. Was my behavior too much in the end? Yes. Like you're doing too much. Okay. He took you on a nice date. It's good. It was one date after he mistreated you beforehand. This is his opportunity to just show you that he means well. There's plenty more time to go. Okay. I'm going to be real. I know that you're young, so you do things for dramatic effect. I'm not saying that makes you a bad person, but I just want you to understand, just calm yourself. It's one date. There's plenty of time to go. And you need to be evaluating on an ongoing process. It's not just a one-time thing, okay? Asking him about Thursday and pushing him a little bit after being so reserved and distanced during the date. What does he want? Okay, this is the thing that I want you to do. When a guy asks you the next time you're free, if you're not free that day, just don't be free that day. So you need to start making decisions. Am I actually free that day? If the answer is no, say no. If I am free that day and the answer is yes, then just say yes. I don't want you saying yes to last minute dates. So like, oh, let's see each other tomorrow. But if he plans it at least a couple days in advance, then you can say yes to that if you're free. What I don't want you doing is doing this weird thing where you're not sure. So when he says, are you free on Friday? And you're like, oh, maybe, I'm not sure. And then he's kind of left in limbo because he can't book a solid date because he's not sure if you're not free and he's also not sure if you are free. So you kind of need to give him, when he asks you if you're free or what day you're free, you need to give him definitive answers so that he can plan off of that. If you let it be in limbo, you're going to make it easier for things to be in limbo. So give a solid answer. Don't confuse him by saying maybe this day, maybe that day. Just give him a day that you are free and let him figure out how to work himself into your schedule. You understand what I'm saying? The second thing here is don't let the anxiety get to you that you get gobsmacked with the fact that he took you out on one nice date and he was not nice and he approached you differently and he apologized. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what the expectation should be. So don't start treating him as if he's the best thing since sliced bread because he took you on one nice date. He also is gaining the understanding that I should approach you with respect and approach you a particular way because you demand that type of respect. Don't now show him that when he begins to do one nice thing for you, that all is forgiven. You need to make it clear to him that on an ongoing process, you're evaluating him and his actions and not just going to be mesmerized by him doing one nice thing for you. Okay. That needs to be very clear. So I get it. You're doing things for dramatic effect. You're young. It's fine. But I just want you to understand, don't be giving guys the impression that you're mesmerized by a guy taking you out on a simple date and being kind and respectful to you. Don't make it seem like this is your first time ever getting respect and being treated like a princess. That doesn't make you look like you want yourself to look in his eyes, okay? Keep doing what you're doing. And hold your water and don't get so anxious that you begin falling all over yourself and worshiping him because he treats you nice for a couple of days. Okay. That's what he's supposed to do on an ongoing basis. All right. Hope that answers your question. Next we have here, let's go back into the free section because I know I don't get to your guys' questions a lot. We'll answer a few more here. Nabizi says he's not ended it, but dating another girl. Please help me. Oh boy. So Nabizi says, hi, Tommy. I've been following you for 2 months and I'm so grateful for your help. I'm a 26-year-old female and he's a 26-year-old male. We dated for 6 years and he relocated last year. We broke up due to issues like inconsistency and emotional blackmail, but reconciled before he left. After he moved, he became distant, blaming school and work, and eventually admitted to being depressed, but never gave clear reasons. I did my best to help him, but he never gave me a chance. I gradually walked away without closure. 2 days later, I found out he's dating a girl I know who relocated earlier this year and now lives with him. They were close friends, which always made me uncomfortable, but he dismissed my concerns. What do I always tell you guys? I feel betrayed and need to know when this started, but from mutuals, especially since he hasn't officially ended our relationship. What? What? Even though I don't want him, what should I do? I love this. When you know it's time to break up. Nabizi, the answer is to break up. It really is. I hate to make it that simple and cut and dry, but I'm a bit confuzzled because you're asking me what you should do, and you're saying 2 days ago you found out he's dating a girl you know. You dated a guy for 6 years. Okay. I'm like glitching because I'm trying to understand how you're not sure that the answer is to just simply break up with him. There's nothing left for you here. Like, what do you, okay. I know what goes through your mind. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, should I confront her? Should I figure out what happened? Should I figure out how this happened? Should I go and do this digging and do that digging? The reality of it is, no matter how much digging you do, no matter how much research you do, you can excavate the entire relationship from start to finish every 6 years, reread every text message and follow his location and track his car. At the end of the day, he's in the relationship with the other girl. So honestly, what you should do first is break up with him and the relationship. Then you can go back and look towards yourself and think to yourself, where did I start seeing things were going wrong? Not that you were doing something wrong, but where did I start seeing things were changing in our relationship? What were some of the things that I analyzed and I thought nothing of, but I should have been thinking something of? And use that as a lesson to learn in your future that when I start seeing those signs or when I start seeing those patterns, that's the exact type of guy I'm going to be avoiding and making sure I don't end up in a relationship with that type of guy ever again. Okay? And start looking to yourself, what were the signs that I missed? Because it's not a you problem, but it still is, you still want to have the ability to be able to see and analyze situations when they're happening. So you want to start thinking to yourself after you break up with him, when you journal, because I want you to write this all down on your paper, I want you to journal out everything that happened in your 6-year relationship so you can have it out on a piece of paper and you can start to analyze information for yourself and see, where did some things go wrong? Where did some things change? Where did our relationship start changing? When did I start seeing patterns? Actually, this would be a great show that we talked about today, the signs before men cheat, that you can listen to so you can better understand what some of the things that might have transpired happened when you guys were supposed to be dating or supposed to be in a relationship and things, for whatever reason, began falling apart until you found out he's with another girl. One of the other things I'll mention to you is never forget, all this best friend stuff that people will try to share with you. Oh, we're best friends. Me and this other girl, we're best friends. We're so close. It's just BS. It's just BS. Guys don't make best friends out of girls that they're not attracted to. Just BS. I don't want to go on a super long rant about this right now, but rest assured, for your future, know that as a fact. Guys do not make best friends out of girls they're not attracted to and don't want to be more with or be romantic with. It just doesn't happen. Don't let guys yell and scream and claw and scratch and explain their way out of it. I'm not talking about any friend. I'm talking about when guys have a best friend that they talk to every single day of the week and see all the time, that they can't go anytime speaking without. Those girls they're attracted to. Let's just cut the malarkey. Okay, let's not mess around. And you need to understand that as a fact of life, that when you're building new relationships with new guys, just don't waste your time trying to build with a guy who's telling you he's got a girl best friend. Because the reality of it is that guy is emotionally unavailable. You just don't know it yet. Okay? Okay? So you need to use, after you break up, use the opportunity to analyze what transpired so that you can make sure you don't make those same mistakes again. But there is no answer other than breaking up with him. Okay, I want you to be very aware of that. All right, guys, that's the show for today. I know we had some technical difficulties, but I be trying to bring you guys the best possible content. And tomorrow we'll get better, we'll improve. There'll be less technical difficulties and things will be smooth one way or another. I'm gonna figure it out. All right, guys, if you guys have a question for me that you want to send into the relationship advice section and get my response, you guys can always do that. And that's available to you in my TikTok bio or my YouTube description. If you want to donate to the show so you can get your question answered sooner, you can also do that as well. And for those of you who want to ask me a private question and have me answer to you via email on voice message, I will do that for you privately via your email, and I'll send you a voice message. All you got to do is go into the link in the bio or the link in my description as well to ask that. All right, guys. For those of you who are wanting to follow me on Instagram because you want to see everything I'm doing, keep up with me, get closer and more personal with me, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Tomisin_Atub right there on the top left corner of the screen, and it's on the bottom right corner of the screen for those of you who are on YouTube as well. For those of you who are on TikTok and you missed parts of the show, you want to rewatch parts of the show, you came late, whatever it may be, all you got to do is go over to my YouTube page, which is right above my head. It's just my name, Tomisin Atobatele. Type it in on YouTube, go into the live section, very important. You'll be able to find this live stream along with all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And the best part is you'll have the YouTube chat and the TikTok chat embedded in the video, so you never have to miss a moment of all the amazing conversation that we have on the show. Okay, I'm here every weekend, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll be here again tomorrow. We'll do some more reacting. Please, if you're in the Discord, go ahead and send me the videos. Let's keep it more on the TikTok side that you want me to react to, just so we can keep them short and choppy, that you want me to react to. And I'm going to be reacting to a bunch of videos tomorrow as well. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Until then, goodbye. Hasta la vista. Arrivederci. Adios. Ciao. Sayonara. Bon voyage. I couldn't think of any other one. And I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I love you so much. So much. Bye for now.